My name is Oscar.
My name is Carl,
and this is Who Would Watch This. Welcome to Who Would Watch This, the podcast where we watch a film, chat about the film, and then try and figure out who to watch this.
Today we're talking about Tomb Raider, Tomb Raider.
Lara Croft, Tomb Raider.
Yes, there we go. Which currently has a 5.8 on IMDb, a 20% on Rotten Tomatoes, and a 2.7 on Letterboxd. Oscar, what's the plot?
Video game adventurer Lara Croft comes to life in a movie where she races against time and villains to recover powerful, ancient artifacts. Wow, Carl. Oh my word. It's video game month. We're finishing off with the female one because a lot of people were like, hey, all the boy things, you're not doing that. Let's get some freaking girl action here.
For sure.
We picked the most feminist icon of the whole franchise. We did Tomb Raider.
Famously so, actually. Yeah. So glad to be here. Glad to be doing an adventure film again. Essentially, what Uncharted was like, what if Tomb Raider was a man?
Yeah. and it did so well. It did so goddamn well. Without Nathan Drake with tits would go bonkers, though. I will say that. Give Tom Holland some honkers and you got some money. Carl, before we jump into that, and I do want to jump into Tom Holland's honkers,
let's discuss it now. Where have they gone? We knew he had them at one stage.
Before we do that, Carl, should we go back to last week before we'd seen the movie and we try and figure out who we thought would watch it?
I'd love to go back in time. All right, Tomb Raider. Oscar, have you seen Lara Croft Tomb Raider?
I've never seen Lara Croft
You're kidding.
Tomb Raider. I've never played the video games. I've never played the new ones. I've never seen I've seen the poster for the new movie. That's why you come to this podcast, guys. We have all the facts and figures, and we're going to opinionate you. Carl, have you seen any of this stuff?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I've seen all of the movies.
Crazy.
And I've played whatever the reboot was of the game.
Yes.
Which is when they were like, what if it got gritty?
Yeah.
And that game was awesome.
Cool.
And that's what the Alicia Vikander one is doing. That one's like, what if we did that?
If there's like an adaptation, that I get those two confused so much. I just go, I feel like the poster is the exact same poster, right?
Yeah.
Both of them the exact same with the dirty face. Just like, that's fine. And then Nathan Drake films. They're just Nathan Drake stuff, right?
Yeah.
They're just doing...
Yeah, it is. It's definitely more like what if it was more. I think it's also a little bit more like survival, which is fun.
Yeah,
like it's a lot of I am trapped on an island, and
that,
so
like
I
2014, like you can craft stuff now.
Yeah, it is.
Video
it's
games
totally
like what
that.
if we crafted everything? I was like, yeah, we're gonna fucking craft some shit. It's 2014.
Yeah, which I mean that game's great. I understand why they were like, what if we adapted this one now?
They squirted out like 3 of those bad boys, didn't they?
Those games,
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, I think that first one really was like such a mega hit.
I used to work at Target, and I remember just having all 3 of them on the shelf, and no one was buying them, but they were cheap. They were
all of the game covers look the same. I couldn't tell you what the subtitles are. I couldn't tell you what the difference is.
It's like similar to Assassin's Creed. I feel like it's Revelations, Revolutions, and Vivelations. You're like,
yeah,
oh,
probably
yeah, okay.
is that.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you do want to see a great video, Conan O'Brien playing it is also fantastic.
Yeah,
if you've
great.
never seen that.
Nice.
He is having a ball attempting to play Tomb Raider.
Great.
But apart from that, I used to watch this one on TV all the time.
Great.
So that's why I'm also going to be pushing to do the second one.
Oh, fantastic. All I know about this is that John Voight, I think, tricked Angelina Jolie and was on the set. Is that why? Is that?
I can't remember what the thing is. I actually tried to look it up, and it feels like it's maybe been scrubbed a bit.
Oh, gotcha.
I don't
okay.
know, or potentially Hollywood lie.
Gotcha. Because I feel like we've referenced that, I don't know, on 19 of these podcasts. I feel like every couple of weeks, like, remember anytime John Voight's even in the room slightly, we throw this in here.
We're always like, remember when he did Angelina Jolie dirty?
Yeah. So maybe he didn't. I'm very excited. Who do I think is going to watch this? Big question. Huge
Big
question.
John Voight fans.
Big John
If you're
Voight.
hot off of Megalopolis, you're like, well, let's see him in his youth when his erection would have worked, huh?
His youth, but like not like his hot youth, but he's just like, oh, he's making some money, he's making some money.
No, his hot youth is completely reserved for National Treasure. He is a hunk in that franchise.
You're gonna piss on that paper? You're gonna piss on that paper? Carl, who do you think is gonna watch Tomb Raider? Lara Croft. Tomb Raider.
I haven't done any research as per what it usually happens on this podcast. You're just getting us at random.
Yeah.
Okay. from my understanding, this movie's really not based on anything, right? The Tomb Raider games were like quite
vague.
vague, quite simple. They were like, what if she looked hot? And then men played that game of exploring caves.
Well, I feel like it was mid-90s, so they didn't have space for any story.
Yeah.
Or they barely had the music. I'll be honest.
And she would have looked very cute.
They got the triangle tits, and they were like, we've done it. That's all we need to do. Fuck off with a plot.
Yeah.
And then they were just sold gangbusters. And then they were like, what's the plot of this? Like, oh, she's just in tombs and shit. Like she's fucking around.
It's
and
Indiana Jones, but like not at all.
Yeah,
that's
on the box.
You can do that.
That's on the box.
Yeah. So it's funny that when you do a game adaptation, because you're like, what are you really doing here? So from memory, this movie takes so much inspiration from like The Matrix for whatever random reason.
Oh, that's
just, you know, when like action.
No. That's crazy. I thought you were gonna be like, oh, it's Indiana Jones. Like, what do you mean The Matrix?
Just in terms of
What
the
do you
like,
mean?
what if there was a lot of wire-fu? Like it's just a lot of
gotcha.
that.
I thought they had like a whole. They went into like a second dimension. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. That's,
Oh, I wish.
that's way better. Oh, okay. Well, I'll take some wire.
Maybe they
work.
do. I don't remember the movie that well. I also thought this was the one with Gerard Butler, but that's the next one, buddy.
Well, we'll have
so
to
I
get
have
that.
to do
Who
it.
would watch it? I think it's just fans.
buttheads.
People, buttheads that want to,
It's
you know,
buttheads.
that want some pre-butt. You
Yeah.
want some pre-butt. You
Yeah.
know, you want some context of the butt.
Yeah.
That's
so,
what, you know.
Yeah, I think it's going to be for people who I don't know who the hell is it made. I guess Angelina Jolie fans, right? I don't know.
mean-
At the time, is this her hot ticket?
I think this was a bomb, but it feels like one of those classic Hollywood, just like the 2009, like it's big. We got the biggest action star who's like having a bit of like beef behind the scenes, so you guys want to kind of see her.
Yeah, totally gives off that like we overspent on everything. Come to the movies.
We've got thousands of people editing, script writing. It's going to be messy, and it didn't do well. But then it also made like $400 million, and then just didn't have any cultural. I guess actually Angelina Jolie, I think, has been like the cultural.
Well, did we think this also made them be like, we need to give those games a plot? Do you reckon it was a bit
I
that
think so,
as well?
but I think it was 2000. Like it really was until like they had a bunch. Like 2008, they had like, what if we had the story like on the walls? We couldn't like animate it, but it's on the wall somewhere. You know, you can read it. And then 2013, they're like, what if we do The Last of Us?
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's better.
There was sort of like, what if this character had agency?
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, crazy how that elevated this game. But also, for any Tomb Raider fans out there, write into us. We're probably wrong. Why? Because we did no research.
Did no research, and I think that's really why many podcasts do the research, do the time, put in the effort. Not us, okay? And that's the seller.
Never
that's
us.
the USI.
You can put that on a stamp and chuck that onto a tattoo.
Yeah.
Because we don't do the research.
Put that on a shirt too.
Yeah, put that on a shirt. Guys, you got to get us successful enough so that we can bother to make shirts.
I want to make garbage merch.
I want to have some of the worst
I want
merch
to make
in
some of the worst
podcasting.
merch.
Yeah.
I want to only contribute to the massive garbage heap in the ocean. I want.
Oh,
that
it's all fast
I
fashion.
want 10% of that to be the who would watch this merch.
Yeah, I want it to be like who would wear this.
Yeah.
And we're just going to make it horrible.
just a couple of rags.
Yeah,
like
just
a
you're
Hessian sack.
We're gonna make you overpay for rags. It's gonna be sick, guys. Make us famous
Oh,
and
God,
we're
we
gonna
need
charge you so much
Oh,
money.
my God, I would
We're gonna
love
take so much advantage of you. You have no idea.
It's all I want. I want to have a horrible relationship with these fans, and I want to abuse you. I want to pretty much immediately overstep the boundaries.
I want to get to the point where the merch doesn't even get sent out to them. We just steal the money.
We take your money and we smoke it. Okay,
Yeah.
we smoke it like on a big boat, because everyone knows podcasts is a billionaires of boats.
Oscar, Tomb Raider.
Tomb Raider. Carl, how are we feeling? I'm pretty in love with this.
I'm into it.
Okay, huge.
I'm fully into it.
I'm fully into it.
The beginning of this movie
Yes.
is just nothing's like this anymore.
No.
It's pure chaos.
And you can just see the snooty little critic going, oh, how bizarre. There's a lot of odd, bad shots. There's a lot of crash zooms. And there's a lot of bad pacing. And there's no continuity with the edits. And why is she on Wireworks? Carl, it's all working. It's all working. This chaos, this nonsense is all good. Okay?
Everything about it is flawless. It is all flawless. There are some incredible insert shots in here where you go, Oh, sorry. Where you go, huh? What? Why? It's just, I'm so excited to talk about the ending. You have no idea.
Me too. It all works. Let's get to the start. Okay, we've started with Lara Croft. She's in like an Egyptian tomb.
It's so good. Boom, a robot comes out. Horrible CGI. Holy shit, is she going to fight this? She's fighting a robot. Boom, it's revealed this is her house, and she has a live-in scientist. A live-in scientist.
We will get into, because I looked up the back half, because I was a bit like, this is all very odd. And it seemed like there was one. I love these 90s blockbuster films because they were just like coming off the 80s of like, we can do no wrong. And they were like, let's just do whatever money is. There's 11 writers on this.
So
it's
good.
been edited. I think it was like, there's this editor that like was like, hey, you can do whatever you want, but you need to edit this and Mission Impossible 2 down from 3 hours to 90 minutes.
Oh.
And he did it.
Oh yeah, because this movie is like plotless. It's crazy.
Plotless. And I kind of go, wow, we're setting. They spend a lot of time setting up a lot, and you don't need a lot of time.
She
setting
doesn't
up.
raid a tomb for ages, and then by the time she's raiding the tomb, they're like, and it's the third act. You're like, what?
We get into this. Let's get into our band of characters because it feels like such a hang up of like so many scripts that have been.
Oh my god.
Let's get into who are they? Who we got? We got the living scientist.
We have the living scientist, played by Australia's own.
Well, I just wrote him as Charlie Bucket's dad from the new Willy Wonka.
But maybe he's British. I'm pretty sure he's Australian. He's an Aussie actor, isn't he?
He's maybe a bit of both.
Okay, let's look again. Okay, yep.
Yeah,
I do love that we do have access to research.
Oh,
I
would never.
Of
We've
us.
got someone on retainer looking up stuff. They've yet to clicky clack on that keyboard, and I like it that way. Okay, you keep that mouse still.
For sure. We should never. It's annoying that we always point the microphone at that keyboard. So if he makes a noise, it has to be in the episode.
The ASMR is dreadful.
It's horrible.
Yes.
So we've got him.
Yeah.
Let's discuss what his life is like.
Yeah.
What do we think he's getting? Like 150, 200 grand a year to live in his caravan?
I think so. I think he lives on like a caravan on site on the mansion's premises. He's got like a little flower bed outside. You know, he's made it all nice for himself. He likes it that way.
This is made up, right? Like this, he can't be in the game.
I don't know. It did feel very video gamey, but also so did the butler, very much.
But
so.
it came across as very like very much like Batman-y, where it's just like, well, he's got to have like somebody else.
Yes.
The same as when like it turns out Van Helsing has his like little Igor. And you're like, okay, just during this 2000 time, they were like, yeah, but where's his like?
They need a little freak that lives on premise, and they're happy to. It's not
freak.
slave. It's not slave.
In National Treasure, it was Riley.
It's Riley.
We've got our Riley sub in over here.
We've got our Riley sub in, and that's what you like about it. He is, yeah, you're right. It's kind of a miserable life. He's kind of just tinkering and tankering with little robots. In fairness, if you're a scientist, I guess this is your dream, right?
Yeah.
Just you get to tinker and tanker. That's kind of all they want to do.
There's one point where he wakes up and he's got 40 machines living their own independent lives.
Yes.
And you go, what a horrible way to sleep. I would step on them immediately. They would be noisy the entire time.
It is crazy. It's like I work for Apple, so I've just got 9 iPads just around my bed.
Anyway, so he's got a weird power dynamic with the butler. Because the butler seems to always be sassy to him, right?
Yes. This butler's from Red Dwarf, Rimmer. Have you ever watched Red Dwarf?
No.
Oh my god. If you're a dad in the 50s who listens to this podcast, guys, how good's Red Dwarf? Check it out. It's a sitcom, Carl, from the 80s for British TV. It ran for 11 seasons. That's a lot for England. They're stuck on space.
Is Red Dwarf the one with like Simon Pegg and Nick Frost?
No. That's Spaced.
Oh, okay.
Red Dwarf, they are like doing essentially like a Wally trip. And then all the humans die except for one.
Oh.
And they're just left on a spaceship. And it's just them bumming around. It's kind of like a sci-fi comedy.
Oh, okay, great. You've sold me.
It's actually great. He plays the hologram in the things. He's pretty much playing
The hologram?
Yeah.
Oh, somebody's got money.
Oh, yeah. No. The bit is they just do a H on his head.
Oh, really?
That's all they've got.
Wow. You could get away with anything in the 80s.
It's essentially just Doctor Who. They're kind of ripping off that. But he's great. He's the butler. You are right. They have a weird dynamic.
Well, because at one stage the scientist is like, can I have a coffee? And he's like, here it is with skim milk, you fat piece of shit. And Lara Croft's like, fight. This is a weird three.
He grabs his like fat. It's like, you getting tubby, huh?
Yeah.
Those robots been doing the dirty with you, huh?
It's just crazy to have a live-in scientist and then a butler who's actually ready to die for Lara Croft.
Totally. It is a crazy dynamic.
Is it Lara or Laura?
I think Lara Croft.
Lara?
Croft, yeah.
I think we're going to say it wrong, or at
Laura,
least I'm going to say it
Laura's
wrong
with
a
a
lot.
U. You're chucking a U in there. You should never chuck a U in anywhere.
I think people do both.
Yeah.
How do we feel about that?
I don't think you can make that
I
up.
think people do both.
I think you do both.
No, I think people do.
All right, fine. Here's
I
the
think
thing.
I think the national
The
populace
Crofters are going to be fucking furious, Carl.
Well,
the Crofters will be...
do I call her Miss Croft?
Yeah, you can.
Okay,
Yeah,
Lady
before.
Croft is trying to peg these two against each other.
Of course they are. I love the dynamic of this because Angelina Jolie is like arguably a very attractive woman, and they're surrounded by some of the most ugliest English men in the world, and it's just a good dynamic. This is how all films should be.
It's one of those things where you go, God, she's not going to be into any of these people, and then when Daniel Craig walks in, you go, oh shit.
What's the main Illuminati guy's name? He's from Game of Thrones. I also thought he looked hot as well. I think everyone even though I mock the British guys, though he looked pretty hot.
He looked hot, but only because he seemed exhausted.
I back it. Yeah, I back it. Yeah, I got it. I think more. I just seen him be like essentially like. Just like, please, Daenerys, please fuck me for 10 seasons.
Yeah.
And him just like 10 years younger, just like, yeah, I'm Illuminati. Give me that triangle.
Does he die for her in the end? I think he does, doesn't
think
he?
so. I think
God,
so.
what a horrible way to live. A horrible way to be like, please, Daenerys, love me. I'm dying for you. And
He
she's
got like
that's
HIV
nice.
stones. He like got like a horrible stone infection, and he just had to sort of live as like, oh, please touch me. It's
Yeah,
like,
imagine that. Imagine that. Like, he didn't even die in battle. He died from like a urinary infection. Like, he was passing kidney stones over there and just passed out in pain. And
Yeah.
go, ah. So he's our villain.
Yes.
And
He's the head of the Illuminati.
I don't know if he's the head of the Illuminati. Isn't he just somebody
Okay,
helping
he's
Illuminati?
Yeah, he's like second in command of Illuminati.
I got to tell you right now, so we introduced this character because the Illuminati's just sitting around having a meeting.
Yeah.
And look, when you do this sort of setup, it's not conducive to a very good meeting anyway. Like two sides of tables filled and then like a hierarchy king in the
It's
middle.
bad synergy, yeah.
It's bad
well,
synergy.
Here's the thing.
How is he meant to hear the furthest away person?
I did also think that. I thought if you're having a 5-row of people and you're the leader, I don't think you want to be in the middle and at the top. Like, I get, like, triangle-wise, you are the top of the pyramid, whatever. But, like, in terms, it should be a circle. You know, it works for a good reason. You should have an oval.
There's a reason a circle is the superior shape
Yeah.
to an open-ended rectangle.
Yeah, you never want to be parallel with your villains, you know?
No, you never want to be parallel. Anyway, so when the villain walks in, I don't know if you had this problem or not, but it's the echoiest room ever, and I couldn't understand a single thing they said to each other.
Luckily, this film, again, might be one of the worst paced films. It goes, we're going to explain this thing that we just established 8 times. And then
Thank God.
And then we're going to skip to the next. There's really 2 things. They spend about, 5 minutes in this church going, right, you need to get this triangle. There's 2 triangles. There's also a watch.
Missed all this. All I heard was the echo.
It was
echo.
And that's what it was. Because it just keeps repeating.
The only thing I heard was, we'll have to wait another 5,000 years.
Which was bonkers, right?
It was nuts.
It cuts through. Here's the thing: it cuts through the bullshit.
It does.
And you're like, whoa, 5,000 years? That's gonna take a while.
I know. And then they just bring that up again over and over.
Yeah.
It's their bargaining chip of being like, I don't believe you. Why don't you wait another 5,000 years then? And you're like, well.
I can't. I need to go for it now.
I don't know what the Illuminati thinks they're going to be able to use this for.
I've got no clue. Can we just talk about the items? Because it's like there's 3 MacGuffins. There's the clock.
Yep.
Circle thing that Lara Croft owns.
Yep.
And then there's 2 triangles in 2 different caves.
Yes.
And if you can,
opposite sides of the world.
which would mean they just circle back around. They're probably in the same area, you know? But so then those 2 triangles combine to make another triangle.
Yes.
That's how triangles
work.
work.
And then that little piece from the clock
Yeah.
needs to go into the triangle.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So it's a 3-piece
And
triangle.
then what it does is it puts you back in time couple minutes.
Yeah.
Couple minutes
It gives
tops,
you a
right?
key to go into. We'll get into the final, but I think it's like a key to the time machine.
But I don't understand, why did it destroy a civilization?
They got too greedy with it, you know?
Did they? Because it looked like they put it together for the first time and it just blew everything up.
It seemed like it was kind of just a nuclear weapon.
Yeah,
like
so
blew
it
up.
seemed crazy that when they put it together, they're just like,
Time stop.
Yeah.
It's crazy they knew that like surely they got lost in translation what it did. It's bonkers they go, it's probably a time machine.
That, you know, I wish that would happen more, where it just turns out the history was wrong, like, and everything was lost in translation.
Yeah.
And like, this was actually the early version of an Oreo.
You must be
They
pissed.
loved it because it was edible.
I thought you were gonna be like it's a horror. Like, I feel like Indiana Jones got it was the
Yeah,
best
they
to
do
do it,
fun things.
and it was the by far the worst one.
Yeah.
You are. It would be just as a good recipe, you know.
Yeah, it would. You're just like, it's actually just a good ramen.
Good stew. A good stew.
Great.
Yeah,
It's
back
actually
in the day.
key to a perfect broth.
Yeah.
And it's just bones. bones.
Yeah.
So that's why chefs have figured it out so far. The secret was bones.
We kind of knew it, but wasn't it kind of fun to learn like
It
how
was great to figure it out
Yeah,
together.
it was
You know
quite
what'd be
nice.
great? Julia Childs is an adventurer tracking down recipes.
Oh my god, it does feel like a 4-minute short film.
No,
Maybe.
it feels like a hit HBO show. And this guy could be in it being
What
like,
if it's gritty?
Fuck me,
What if it's
Julia,
gritty? What if
please."
it's gritty?
Oh,
Wouldn't
what
it
if
be
it's the
nice?
most violent show
Oh,
you've
you want
ever
this
seen?
horny guys to be
I want
just
this
like,
horny guy to be
"Oh,
like, please,
please touch me.
Julia."
I'm all stony, liking
Yeah.
Game of Thrones, but they did it for this one as
Yeah.
well.
And then he dies again of an STD over
Just
to the
before
side.
they gets the stew.
Just before
There
he gets
this,
the stew.
and guess what? That stew cures it. Cures stone.
Damn.
Carl, who we got? We got
Okay,
Lara.
well, let's talk about Danny Craig's.
Okay, huge.
All right.
He rocks up.
Did you know who was in this?
No, I did not.
Yeah, what a shock.
It is bonkers. It is because he walks in and does the biggest American accent, and it's good, but it is weird him doing an American
I don't know
accent.
if I would say it's good.
I don't know. Here's the thing. I don't think you know Daniel Craig because I think he's either does a British accent or he does a leghorn foghorn. So I think when he's sort of doing an American thing, he has a little pinch
What's
of that.
great about his character in Knives Out is it's disguising the fact he's also doing a bad accent
Yeah.
and how much fun he himself is having.
Oh, 100%. Lula Cruz. Oh, that's fine. I don't know if it... Yeah, he sort of blends in the background. It is crazy he's
Yeah.
been around, though, for so
There
many
are
years.
scenes where it's just like, because Angelina Jolie's doing a fake British accent, he's doing a fake American accent. You're just sort of watching these scenes.
And everyone
happen.
else is then just hoity-toity British.
Well, then you've got the little Australian guy is doing an American British one for
Oh,
her,
yeah,
and
no.
you're like, guys, this is gobbledygook.
It's ridiculous.
You're just saying gobbledygook.
Everyone's saying nonsense. That's the thing. I feel like
Yeah.
John Voight doesn't bother doing an accent either.
John Voight's so clearly just phoning it in.
He's in a room. He doesn't move. I don't think he moves a muscle.
Yeah. Either he was like, yes, you can put that silly little mustache on me, or he said, no, I'm not shaving this.
This is my look. It's the Voight
Yeah.
look. It's Voight look of 2001.
I know he didn't do a lot of work because all of his photos are just him photoshopped into things.
This angle, I don't think he let the camera. He's like, don't move that camera. You're not getting another shot. I've got an hour on set. You're going to film the whole thing now. No, we won't cut.
There's one where you're like, oh, look, he was good friends with this character we see in the movie, and even they are standing 2 feet apart. Just mutual straight men. Just
Was
in
he
a
wearing
photo.
the same shirt? He seems to be wearing the same shirt in every scene.
He loved the same shirt. If there's a character trait I could tell you about Lara Croft's dad, it's that he loved wearing the same shirt.
Let's get into Lara Croft herself as a character.
Yeah, so this money is coming from...
I think the dad. I
Right.
think the dad. I
And
think
so
the
is
dad
she
was-
for hire?
I think she's just for fucking about.
Well, because at one stage she's laying back and she's just like, I want to go to the pyramids. They're boring.
Yeah.
I've done them before.
I think she's just fucking around. She's fun.
But also Elle on the butler who's like, why are you sad? And she's like, it's the 15th. And it just cuts to her standing over a grave and she's like, I miss you, Daddy.
It's not a grave. It's not a grave. It's a tent mausoleum. It's like a concrete tent. And they put John Voight's grave at the bottom. I couldn't believe it. They've had like little bits of moss carved into the... Oh my God. I couldn't believe. What a crazy thing to do. How often was he in a dirty tent for him to be like, I want to be encased in that for my death?
It must have been, again, as she probably didn't know him that well, must have been like, I think he liked a dirty tent.
Yeah. He spent a lot... all the pictures I've got, he's just in a dirty tent. So
It's
he
funny
probably
because he
weighs
owned
it.
a mansion.
Yeah.
So, but he must he have felt more at home in a dirty tent?
Don't we all?
That's beautiful.
Don't we all?
Isn't that beautiful
That is
to think
beautiful.
of?
Wow.
I guess I did cry in this scene.
Yeah.
I felt it.
Yeah.
It was the 15th.
Yeah.
Crazy the butler doesn't remember that yearly. Like bad butler, right?
Bad butler.
Don't pitch a new job to like a woman mourning her dead father.
I gotta tell you, that's a crazy sentence. Like, don't pitch going over to like do your rummaging around tombs on the 15th. That'd be wrong.
Yeah.
You know, I'm actually on the butler's side. How ridiculous! What a nonsense
Well,
statement.
the poor guy, he's the one doing all the legwork, I guess, putting together 4 binder options for her. It came across as a very Simpsons movie of being like, do you want number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, or number 5?
I don't want to do anything. What is the kicking off point? I guess she wakes up from a dream, goes, oh, that clock under the house.
Clock won't shut the fuck
Fuck
up. It's got to be one, and I saw it in her eyes. It was, I'm too rich to not get a full night's sleep.
Yeah.
What's keeping this clock up?
Yeah.
So she goes and finds the clock, and
Yeah.
then she gets her in-house scientist up, who's also again not sleeping any of the 84 rooms she says the house has, which is just a waste on him.
Yeah.
So he can perform a colonoscopy on this clock.
Yeah. They get the camera as well. He kind of inserts into the cock's anus.
Yeah.
Cock's anus.
It was one of those things and she's like, stop it. There's the infection. It just felt like they really graphically sodomized that clock.
Yeah.
And I don't think anybody should have done that.
No, but here's the thing. That's why you get a scientist on his retainer. So you can sodomize a clock.
You know what's great is so they figure out that there is a piece inside the clock.
Yeah.
And then she's like, I'm going to go take this to my dad's friend.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And he... Basically, I don't know why she goes, because she stands above him and is like, so we think this thing does this, this thing does this, and we know the history relates to this. So what do you know? And he's like, I can't help you. It sounds like you know it all.
Seems like you know it all. It seems like you're bragging to me, and quite frankly, I'm going to steal it because you've really fuck you essentially. Yeah. I'm going to tell all my friends. Is this the old man you're talking about? This is the craziest.
It's bizarre.
It's the weirdest scent. Okay, essentially, she goes to him. And then he goes, I can't help you. Yeah. The next scene happens. He then calls her, goes, I can help you. It's this. Hangs up. We then go to another scene. Why did they have two?
Oh, I don't know. Because I also thought, did he get killed on the other side of that phone? But it was just her microwave blowing up. But what was the point of that?
I don't know. I have no idea.
To humanize her? They're like, she might be rich, but she can't cook a meal.
I kind of think I'm on her side. Like, it's just a bit of a bonkers life she lives. I'm not
sympathetic
to
It's just odd for the scene to be like, and 3, 2, 1, and the microwave goes off now.
It does feel so stitched together. I kind of love it because you're just like, that's an odd sequence.
The old man is like, go away, Lara Croft, and she jumps on a bike and whizzes away, and he's there drinking port. And then the next scene is him being like, "You there?"
Yeah. Why just do it there?
Yeah, and then he hangs up and is like, "I'm sorry," and like looks at a photo, and I'm like, "Are you getting her killed?"
No, I don't think he did anything.
Is he a part of the Illuminati as well?
He was. I guess maybe that's it.
I just thought it was weird that she went to him when she knew everything.
Yes.
What did she hope to learn from him?
Nothing. If anything, she's revealed a plan to now. I think that's how the evil guy finds out right about the plan.
So she's fucked herself over for good. Really, is what's occurred. Yes. There. Not smart. Not a smart move from old Lara.
I don't mind it because I'm not thinking her wit comes from, making a plan. You got a butler for that.
Yeah.
Her main thing's flipping and shit.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
It is great when the adventure starts. Actually, sorry, no. So she's...
You are right. There's a lot of legwork to get to kind of nothing.
It is. So one of the things she loves to do around her house is simply just like swing about in a room.
Why wouldn't you? I love these things. Do you remember like we go to like a mall and they would just have these for children and it would just never be very appealing. It's like it's $10 and there's one kid that's stuck up there.
Yeah, and you get 25 seconds.
They're too light, or the fat kid couldn't do it, and it just is very. It was a horrible imbalance.
You
want to be a
step on this
child.
scale, and you need to be either 40 kilos or 60 kilos.
Yeah.
And anything in between, that's what you get. Anything either side of that, you're obtuse.
You. We're going to leave you up there. So
we slingshot you away so you don't keep coming back in line.
You're a warning for the other children. Every child should come. Everyone be a medium child. That's the way of life.
Just standing up there being like, this was an overweight child, and now we shall catapult him. If you think you might be overweight, step out of line.
No, but take a risk. Fuck it.
No. Please.
I always felt there was always a child stuck up there. Yeah. And then the guy would have to like grab your little foot and just yank you down. And then you just all bubble up again. I
love the idea of a parent being like, are you sure, Timmy? Because I think you might be over 60. Like, I don't want to put it on you, but I think you're an overweight kid. And I don't want you to get catapulted like that one over there. But I don't know how to breach this topic of you are an overweight kid.
Yeah. You're a bit tubby, and that's fine.
But
when the catapult comes out, you gotta be realistic.
Yeah. And you know what's bad too? I think you might be too big for the catapults. They're just gonna drill you down into the ground.
Oh man, that's gotta be a low life.
They're like, bury him alive.
We've got a third option. There's a more overweight. Your morbid, please bury him in the sling.
Crazy there was a king.
Imagine being so fat you sink in the ground. That'd be crazy. Imagine getting slung up and then you immediately sink into the ground because you're that overweight. God.
Crazy they used to do everything we just said in shopping malls.
Yeah.
Crazy. They used to do these outside of JB Hi-Fi's and Kmart.
There'd be 4 as well. They were that popular. They're like, we need 4 of these bad boys on retain. We need to keep this going.
It is. It was a booming business until it immediately wasn't. Like, it actually crumbled, so an empire fell. The guy that was like, what do I do with all my catapults and my burying equipment?
Who was the guy that pitched that? That's crazy. They're like,
who said they only make sense in an enclosed shopping mall?
Westfield was like, get them 5. I want in every corner. It's crazy. Who's
Anywhere there's a 2-story gap, put in one of these.
I want a catapult. I want a catapult now.
But we've got to do that installation for Santa and his photos. I don't care.
I don't give a shit.
Catapults
That's
everywhere.
That's a year thing. The catapults, they're year round.
You seen Lara Croft Tomb Raider? Yeah, it's going to be big, okay? Westfield needs 5.
Anyway, she does that for like what?
She's just fucking about.
Yeah.
This was when I just immediately wrote to, is she going to do anything?
No.
But little did I know, action scene alert.
It might be the best action sequence of the film.
I got to tell you, every set is so massive and sprawling, and boy, does it look like a set in a studio.
Yeah.
And I loved that aspect. The other thing is, every scene looks like they're doing it practically, and yet they've shot it in the worst way possible. I couldn't tell you what happens in this scene, but I loved its kinetic energy.
They've got, I'd say, 90 cameras in some of the worst angles known to man.
Yeah.
Like if you've got a whole, 50 meter by 50 meter by 50 meter, they've thrown cameras into the air, and wherever they've landed, they've stuck.
That's where they've gone.
That's what we're editing with, and so you just get.
There's one that's just like sort of like on the production designer trying to scramble out of it. I love it because the sieges, they don't expect her to be, I guess, on a catapult. So they come in from the sky and have to stop mid-sky.
Yeah.
And so she just goes around and slices their ropes off. Guys, slide to the bottom.
Yeah.
Shoot up.
I'm not a SWAT person personally, but that's got to be a bad day for you. You know, how do you train for that? Because here's the thing. If I was a SWAT person, I would love to be bashing through the window and then sliding down. That'd be the best part of my day. And I'd be very upset that I would have to mentally think, what if they're also trapezing? I
would love in like a SWAT interview and they're like, anyone got any questions? And you're like, what do I do if I'm caught in a Lara Croft Tomb Raider scenario? What?
That's a classic one. You want to just pull your gun out, put it in your mouth, because we can't defend that. We did it once and it's done.
Oh, sorry. That's actually, we just let the Air Force take care of that now. So if you do find yourself in there, just call in an airstrike.
Call an airstrike. You want to just immediately drone strike the bad boy.
Well, hang on. Sorry. Let's go back. Now, if you are attacking Lara Croft and you are a part of the SWAT, have you securely put a hammer outside the caravan that the live-in scientist is in to make sure he can knock it out? Have you done that, sir? Have you done that?
What a weird little thing. I feel like she was getting fined because like she got the
weird. They didn't want to kill him.
Yeah,
just kill him.
Kill him. Give one of these characters some motivation because it just seems like they're just doing shit because one even needs the money or the power. They all have the power.
That's the thing it's a lot of people just being rich and powerful already. You go, this is a dull life, isn't it? I never want to be to the power of being a thrill seeker and a rich person sitting behind a desk being like, pyramids, schmyramids. They're sandy and they get everywhere. I don't want to go.
I'm just appeasing my home. This is a depressed person's life. I'll say it. And that's fine.
It is a depressed person's life. Her waking up in the middle of the night being like, there's ticking. There's ticking in this mansion.
It is pretty sad. I feel like if Angelina Jolie wasn't the star, it'd be a horrible, miserable experience. Anyway, the SWAT happens.
And they get what they want.
They steal the clock.
Yep, great.
Great. Now the adventure goes on because now she needs to get that clock back.
Yeah, so what do? Well, you do the typical thing. You catch a car hung by a plane to the other side of the world, dropped into the forest, bada bing, bada boom.
We're in Cambodia now.
Yeah, we're in Cambodia. Cambodia looks beautiful on screen.
God, Cambodia looks stunning.
They are actually on set, and it looks fantastic.
I was pretty happy. They do this like almost like a not Tropic Thunder. What's the
Apocalypse Now?
Apocalypse Now. They do like essentially like all the savages on the thing, but they're all like just living monks and vibing, and it's just great. And you just go, why are we here?
Yeah,
why have you guys done this?
It's one of those things where you go, why haven't we spent the whole film here right now? You know what's weird is she meets Daniel Craig's character in a hallway. When I think any other movie would be like you meet them on a mission, like you're on this, like you're doing this too.
Because are they friends? I thought they were enemies.
I don't know what this relationship is.
Because the film ends up going, I'm gonna kill your man. I was like, isn't he on your side?
Yeah.
I was very confused what his role is.
They had no chemistry together.
No.
They don't hint at the fact that they've had like previous relationships.
No.
So I don't really know what this is.
It seems like they're
all.
enemies. I feel like they're enemies, but they're kind of like professional enemies.
Yeah, it feels like they've always been passing each other at jobs,
Yes.
which is weird that we wouldn't see them passing each other at a job, but
Yeah.
rather just in a hallway.
Well, the bet you want to start with the robot thing first. That sort of gets you
you
going.
want to get your robot stuff out of the way because that makes sense for when the stones come to life. You got to set that up for you got to set that up for the audience.
We're in Cambodia, and I'm pretty happy with all the extras and the practical stuff.
yeah.
I am just thinking I guess amazing. And there's the tomb. We get into the tomb.
Mid-tomb. Is that what we want to talk about?
Yeah, well, I think so.
Lackluster. I got to tell you right now, all the tombs suck.
All the tombs
And
suck.
I think this is an issue across every film adaptation they've ever done. All the tombs suck.
Whoa, you're saying every tomb sucks? You're not a big fan of rocks and moss and vines? And
I'm just
whatnot?
saying, in terms of film adaptations of the Tomb Raider movies, to have that in the title, they don't.
Oh,
ever...
sorry. I thought you meant just tombs in general.
No,
have never been
God,
depicted
no.
well in film,
No.
which is bold.
Have you seen The Mummy 3: Tomb of the Dragon Emperor? Of
course.
That one nails it. They're the Terracotta Warriors.
But yes, go on. Because you're right. It does look like, and I would love to ride this ride at Universal. I think this would go hard.
It's just her that's sort of like riding a giant pin, just back and forth. It's a big swing.
Yeah.
It is odd that as well. She's like, there's got to be a tomb around here somewhere, and like falls into it. And I'm like, you're not very good at this either.
What did you think? This is very not even like this. What do you think of that hole animation where she fell down the hole? What was up with that? It
I
was
kind of thought it was some of the best filmmaking I've ever seen.
I also quite liked it. I'm glad we're on the same
It
page.
felt
here.
like it was like, what if this scene was a little bit Looney Tunesy?
It did feel a bit
and
weird.
it kind of worked.
It was kind of like her 2D like falling down like a YouTube animation.
But then she just sort of grabbed it.
Yeah.
And I was like, good for her.
her.
Right?
I'm on her side.
Because even when she's fallen, she's working. And
Yeah.
that's what I like,
she's
you
a
know?
fallen walking girl. And that's what's
Yeah,
good
for
about
sure.
Her.
And that's what's famous about Lara.
She
or Laura.
always
Lara,
catches
Lara.
a vine. She
Yeah.
always catches a vine. Now, you are right. The tombs don't look great. And I do think the film completely crumbles here because essentially the baddies walk in, so does Lara, and I think they kind of go, should we just have a truce? And we've got like 40 minutes to go, and this truce lasts a while.
I was shocked that this is where they go, we now work together.
Yeah.
I went, oh.
So now they're just sort of, and they're not even like
I've never seen a hero so passively be like, I'll just work with the enemy until I need to not.
Yeah.
Go, oh, okay.
And it seems like it kind of makes them not as threatening. It seems like really
As villains, they're kind of silly.
I think everyone's silly.
Yeah.
Here.
Remember, so basically after we have this whole scene,
Yeah.
she rides a big swing.
She does like a whole big swing.
Yeah.
She
She's
knocks
got to let
green goo out of a
She's got to
cauldron.
get goop out of an urn.
Yep.
And then that's going to seep into all of like the ape
The ape
statues.
holes. They've got aping,
Yeah.
gaping holes.
And then they all fight that.
Yep.
And they all, I love in the movie, it's all played for, okay, yeah, well, we were able to defeat them all. Like, they were all like, we're probably going to have to defeat some apes.
Some stone monkeys.
Some stone monkeys.
monkeys.
Nobody's surprised that there's stone monkeys.
I think people have the stone monkey weapon. It's like a stick, and they that normally helps out.
They've seemingly all done this before.
Yeah,
Which was...
this seems like honestly SWAT 101.
Yeah.
You know, you learn about
Seems
the
like a
ropes, and then you
Tuesday.
learn about the stone monkeys.
Yeah, it's crazy the Illuminati's trained on like rope assassination and stone monkeys.
Yeah.
Because I thought Lara's an idiot trying to defeat robots, but she's playing 4-dimensional
She knew her
chess.
stuff. Yeah, she knows her stuff. I mean, that's the thing. So I'm pretty happy. The stone monkeys sort of happen. There's a big stone monkey with 3 heads and 6 arms.
Oh my god, wasn't he magnificent? And by magnificent, I mean all of the CGI was crap.
Whoa, now hang on. It looked ganky.
It did.
Yeah.
I loved when old CGI didn't move right. I loved when it was like, I know you're made of stone, but why are you a robot as well?
The goop looked odd, didn't it, as
It
well?
did.
The goop looked
Nothing
like
looked
dreadful.
right. It was fantastic.
Yeah, I don't know. And I've never played the games. I assume this movie is a big villain, but God, it just all looked horrid.
When
I
did
kinda
this
love
movie
it.
come out?
2001.
Oh my god, what the fuck do we think this budget actually goes to?
Do you want it? I've looked it up.
It's 115 million, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, what does that convert to in today's dollars?
Oh, I think a cool 4 bill.
Was it
2001.
$207 million today, this budget?
Yeah, it feels it.
That's nuts considering, I guess there's a lot of extras and a lot of sets.
There's a lot of extras, a lot of sets.
But it does feel like
and
there's-
it feels like they filmed another. It seems like they filmed about 3 hours of footage, and they've taken a lot of stuff out.
This was their Irishman.
Yeah.
But they didn't have a Netflix to help them.
I didn't have a
I would
DH.
have
They
loved
didn't have a DH anyone.
somebody in the editing room being like, this is a magnum opus. If only I would have been able to do it all. The robots and the apes would have paid off.
Yeah.
And they were like, there is a 90-minute endgame period where they go back in time and the movie folds in on itself like Tenet.
It's beautiful, and yet we had to cut all that out.
Yeah.
And mainly it's tombs. Us mainly bothering around, waiting to get to the next tomb. Because they leave this tomb. Lara Croft has the triangle, and I was like, okay, now she's on her edge. She's like, still trucing, so we should go to the next one together. It's probably cheaper and economic.
Yep.
So, save on Ubers and
It is.
travel.
It's one of those things where it's like, what if we just took one plane?
Yeah.
It's like that guy from Twitter that shouts out Taylor Swift's plane was doing the villain's plane
Yeah.
as well. And he was like, okay, so we've also got Mick Jagger's coming on
Yeah,
ours.
I'll be honest.
And we're also doing all this other stuff as well.
Yeah, no, both villains were like, listen, I know we're bad, but, we're also very wealthy.
The Illuminati's running out of money.
The PR's bad for the Illuminati. People aren't too happy with our ongoings. The climate's dying. And we've got
Crazy
Al Gore's been an absolute goddamn mess, Carl. And quite frankly, I can't afford this. Okay,
Yeah, let's talk about the real villain of the Lara Croft. It is Al Gore.
it's Al Gore. His climate policies were too early to. It's just not on. Okay, and sometimes you need a pollute, and sometimes when you want to go treasure hunting, you need a pollute. That's not bad.
When she's sitting at her desk being like, what mission should I do next? And he puts down one just called The Truth, and she's like, oh, this is inconvenient. Right?
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
To the listener out there, if you have not seen An Inconvenient Truth, neither have I. I've just taken global warming at face value.
It's toasty. It's pretty
It's
hot.
toasty. I mean, the oven's on.
Oh, okay, well, that's fun. There's a hoax. Carl, so essentially the tension's all gone. They go to, where they go? Do they go to Venice or do they go to the polar bear area? They go to an...
I don't know. They go to the snow.
Yeah.
Right? They're like, we need a lot of dogs. It sort of cuts to them being like, we need 40 to 60 dogs.
Because their team is Lara Croft with her half of the triangle.
Yeah.
She's got doesn't even have the butler or the scientist on retainer. They're just sort of in the wings. And then the villain has James Bond, and 90 SWAT guys just ready to shoot.
Yeah.
Take the triangle also.
Just take the triangle.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're in there. You know what's crazy is, do you reckon they were like, oh, we've got to put Tomb Raider in the title just because there's a lot of Tomb. There's a lot of boring
I would say Tomb
Tomb.
Raider is the IP,
Yeah.
and the Lara Croft's the janky bit.
But it feels like they really just wanted to call it Lara Croft so they could have a departure from Tomb Raider.
I think the tombs are pretty...
Because the next time they call it Tomb Raider, then they're doing Tomb Raider.
Or are they tombing a bit more? This
Yeah.
does... Also, we get into not only the villains thing, but the guys who made the triangle in the first place.
Yes.
They have made these triangles so enticing. All I want to do is raid the tombs that they are in. They are so tempting. Why do they make them so fun and enjoyable? Just dig it in the dirt
The
somewhere.
final one is just like a jungle gym.
Yeah.
It's really
It's
exciting.
like a wipeout course.
It is. Yeah, it is
All
a
I want
Wipeout.
to do is jump on that bad boy and get what's ever inside.
Who was the guy that used to narrate from Top Gear?
James May? Richard Hammond?
Richard Hammond.
Which one?
Sorry, he used to do Wipeout.
Oh,
he used
did.
to narrate Wipeout.
Yes, gotcha. I thought you were just doing a Top Gear bit, but yeah,
Sorry,
no, he
he
did.
used to narrate. So if he was then being like, all right, now for the big
James
red balls.
Oh my god, the big red balls. They're
Just
tough.
seeing Daniel Craig suffer on the big red balls trying to get to the tomb.
You never want to get put in the mud first. That's
Yeah.
always the worst. You never want to get muddy than ball. It's always tough.
What year are we in that we're referencing An Inconvenient Truth and Wipeout?
I gotta be honest, I missed the Iraq War, guys. It's just a fonder time, you know?
Bring back Bush. I know you're all thinking it.
I demand. I have not been keeping up with politics, guys. I just heard about this Obama guy, and the GFC's ruining me. I think we should go back to a nicer time of 2006, where things were cool.
Where's Reagan? Huh? Wasn't he
You're going to
great?
80s. You're going to 80s. You're going to 80s.
Oh, am I?
Yeah.
What
You
can you do? What happened? He was on the TV shows though, wasn't he?
You're going now 60s
Is
now.
he the one that
He's the movie star,
Did
yeah.
he act with the ape?
Yeah, he did the
Yeah?
monkey film in
Why
the 70s.
didn't Charlton Heston get to rule America? But he could.
No, he's the NRA guy. He did get to rule America.
Oh, we
a little
did
bit,
get to.
yeah.
Oh, okay. What, Charlton Heston?
Yeah, he's the NRA guy. He was the head of the NRA.
Charlton Heston,
Yes.
the actor.
Yes.
You're kidding.
It's like you're learning like the Reagan thing. Yes,
This is shocking. Then what did Reagan do? He didn't get to rule America, did he?
He did, yes.
Does Nixon know about this?
Oh, Nixon is not happy. Let me say right now, Nixon was Charlton Heston to run the NRA.
I'm shocked to figure this out.
Did you not
I guess
know
he
that?
loved guns in Planet of the Apes.
Yeah. His main thing, remember that bit to the camera goes, I love this AR-15. I think every child should have one.
You damn dirty ape.
Yeah, it was a weird, it's an iconic line, and that's why it
Dr.
sticks.
Zaius was like, this man's good.
Give a child a pistol. I think that's cool and funky.
You never get those in those new Caesar films.
Yeah,
Andy
no.
Serkis never said that
Well,
to
he's
me.
a libtard. He's like, oh, don't give him out the guns. The monkey's like, let's take a moment to be like, at your proper gun safety and reform. It's like, get out of here. Where's Heston with his big muffler?
all of the apes asking for Heston. Wow.
They want to uprise. They're just like, guys, we need guns. It's like, how about we take a moment and do a course in safety, huh?
We can do these bits because this podcast is not big in America.
Oh, it's actually massive.
It's big in the UK, and that's why we can talk about the UK now.
Yeah.
London.
Oh, how good are knives?
Yeah. The gang war.
Oh, God, machetes.
Yeah.
Bring them back, maybe.
What's
2006.
going on over here? What's Australia got?
I feel like knits are pretty bad at the moment.
Oh my god, knits are outrageous. What a silly country we have.
It's just a bit bonkers,
It's a lot of wildlife issues, you know? It's either we're touching them too much or too little.
Here's the thing. You want to get a middle ground, it's tough. It's tough.
It's tough to have a middle ground. And a lot of us just live by the coast, so the sea air just gets to you.
90% of people live 50 kilometers away from the beach in Australia.
For sure.
Yeah.
I guess, what are we? Like 10 kilometers from the beach?
Yeah.
8. 5?
Yeah.
4? 3? What are we counting down
It's
to?
It's a tsunami.
The beach is coming to us. Oh, Australia. What a frightening country.
God, we got from Wipeout. Anyway, so there's about 58
Oh, yeah, sorry.
dogs.
So Richard Hammond.
There's about 100 dogs peeling these guys towards the next tomb, which is in the snow. And it just looks like a great theme park. It's essentially like a big planetarium. The big thing at why it's 5,000 years is all the planets need to be aligned, and then it like Indiana Jones light. Who cares?
I couldn't tell you. It seemed like there was they keep on being like there is a time like crunch here, but I never felt like there was. In fact, every time something bad happened, they were still very on time.
They were very much on time, but they kept counting. It's like they were running out the film. They're like, we have to wait a minute, so let's all count a minute. You know,
There was a
let's do that
great
a couple
part.
times.
There was a great part where they were like, Daniel Craig, you have to count this entire scene.
Yeah.
Just so they didn't have to show a clock.
It was great, right?
Yeah, it was fun.
saved a lot of time.
I liked when he had to talk, and then he was like, 12, 11.
I'm calling. What do we think about this final?
Have you ever seen the movie Contact?
Not Rob Reiner's. Is that Rob Reiner?
It's a Zemeckis. Zemeckis one with
I've
Jodie
not
Foster
seen
and
the mirror sequence. I love the mirror.
yeah,
sequence.
the mirror sequence is great, but basically, that movie is all about like loss and stuff, and spoilers for Contact. But I
Yeah.
don't think anyone gives a fuck.
I'll be honest. I want to watch Contact. But
do you?
I do, but go ahead. Ruin it for me.
I don't even think it's. I would say that like that climax revolves around like a daughter getting to have a conversation with her father.
Yeah.
Right. And so that feels like they've decided to do this here because Contact was like our third act got to have big spectacle, but then also beautiful little
touching
scene,
moment,
right?
yeah.
And they were like, but what if we did that? But we didn't earn it. And the scene, the two of them weren't really on screen.
No.
Would that work?
Would that work? Would that be a nice final climax? Because we'll get into it. So essentially, the big planet thing is spinning it above the water.
Yeah.
All the goons are getting wiped out.
Yeah.
Daniel Craig gets wiped out, and then
He
Lara
does.
Croft does it right.
She gets sucked in. It's
Yeah.
really comedic.
She gets
and they all
sucked
go,
up.
whoa.
Whoa! What the fuck was that?
But she comes up with a triangle.
She comes up with a triangle, and then the big Illuminati guy is like, "All right, let's."
He's standing tall.
Yep.
And he's like, let's do this together. And it's also because my big thing here is he goes to do it.
Yeah.
And then our villain kills him. And then he goes to do it himself, but he's just crouching in the corner.
Yeah.
And that's just not how this should be performed.
No. You gotta have some moxie.
You gotta be
have
standing.
You gotta have
At least stand up to
These
join the
triangles not been
triangles.
back together for a very long time. Have a bit of fucking
Imagine not
decorum.
fucking standing. Do you reckon the guy that invented this triangle that stopped time, reversed time, and wiped out the world was like, you know, when that happens next, somebody's not even going to have the decency to stand up and do it.
It's rude, and that's why I think this villain fails.
I reckon if this villain was in shorts, the guy that created the triangle would have turned over in his grave. Oh. Imagine being crouching in shorts and putting the triangle together.
That'd be oafish. It would actually, I think the power with the triangle would be gone. But essentially, essentially
That sucks. But he didn't realize you had to be standing and in pants.
You gotta be well dressed. It's like an RSL. No shoes, okay? So you gotta wear shoes.
Oh, history got confused. The whole thing was actually just about being formal.
Modest. Modest.
Formal attire is best.
Yeah, you want to be casual, but also you want to be a bit professional.
Wear long pants, put on some Converse, though.
Carl, you tell me this. They get sucked into the Shadow Realm, and they are then running on a big stone.
Yes, so this is the thing I loved.
Yes.
Because I went, what the fuck is this?
Yes.
And then it's over and never called back to.
It's so upsetting. I don't know what CGI they've used for it. It's like that 80s Tron stuff.
Yeah.
It all works.
It's
works.
It's out of nowhere. They've never used this style before in the film. It looks incredible. We only get it for 16 seconds.
They're both run. It's like a beautiful music level. They both jump for it in the air. They grab the triangle. It's like Full Guys. It's beautiful. It's stunning.
And he doesn't get it. And I assumed fell into the abyss and died.
Yeah.
Only to find out he is fine.
He's back in a big way.
If he had
I think his mind's gone for life, though. I think he's lived at like a 2001. Like he's like, oh, I actually rebirthed a whole thing. It was about 10 million years. It's been a horrible, torturous life, but I'm back in a big way.
Do we think if he'd gotten the triangle, he would have had to talk to her dad?
Yeah.
Do we think the triangle was always going to go to John Voight?
Here's the thing. This triangle only can get to John Voight. It's a pretty shitty triangle. Luckily, Lara Croft's dad was John Voight. Other than that, you don't really want to chat to John Voight.
You know what's also crazy about an insert shot is because after this whole debacle happens and whatever the fuck this realm is, he is then like, I killed your dad. And then it cuts to that, which is also in the same weird style.
It's like a bowling animation of just him like executing John Voight. It's like, spare. It's kind of beautiful.
And it's also funny too because he's like, yeah, no, he begged for his life. So funny to contradict the villain when you're like, oh god, this is a scary villain, and he's like, shoot me.
Yeah,
takes him out.
Lara Croft's like, I've got the triangle that tells the truth, and you're telling this is
a triangle of truth.
This goes nonsense. So essentially, Illuminator guy's on the ground. He couldn't look more weak. All the goons go.
She's turned a knife back at him, which is the most goofy thing for a villain to succumb to.
Yeah.
His own weapon mid-air coming back at. I love that the producers were definitely on set going, what does the triangle do? Does anyone know? This thing's going to have to destroy itself. We
filmed it doing like a big nuke thing. I don't think we can do the nuke thing again. How about it just does knives backwards? Thoughts on that? We'll do a little Hunger Games
out of
thing.
money. We've got money to do knives backwards. Raise a hand if you're okay with that.
It's also all the sound effects and the music as well. I think the music...
It's a cacophony of noise. It's gorgeous.
They've got like an iMovie, like dun dun dun. It's kind of great. I think the score was meant to be live. They ran out of money. Then Danny Elfman was like, hey, I'll do it. And then they just bounced a check from Danny Elfman. He's like, you can't use my music. So they just kind of got this stock sanded bonkers noise. All the massive shots are accompanied with a whomp.
Clearly,
whomp.
none of the music meets up, and so they've had to chop the scenes to fit the music, and thus the chopping is so bizarre.
Well, chopping, but then they've also got like a lot of sequences.
Transition sounds
to
make the chops make sense.
But
over
then they
the top
also
of the
have
music.
a lot of stuff that's like in 10 frames per second, where like they're just like
whenever
walking.
they cut to like the shutter frame look, what is this?
I think there's no sequence where it needs to be that.
No.
So I think they're just like, we actually need to stretch it out. We haven't got the shot.
It's really impressive.
Yeah. It all works. That's the thing. It's a horrible mess, but it all really ties together.
My favorite quote I found was they didn't want the villain to die from a knife. They wanted him to die in a gritty, a real looking fight.
Yeah, because let's think of it. So she gets knifed. The villain's on the ground.
Yeah.
He's like, I killed your dad. All of his goons leave.
Yeah.
Everyone just leaves
Everyone
the building.
runs. And Daniel Craig's like, leave him to die.
Yeah.
Don't even bother. You know he's going to die here. And she's like, shush you. And then we never see him again.
No, Daniel Craig's gone. They then have he's back in a big way. He's like, I was on the ground knife.
He's like,
fine.
I'm pretty good. It almost feels like maybe we didn't know I was going to be stabbed until we reshot the scene. Anyway, look at me karate.
They have another sequence of them. But then I blanked out.
Did they ever introduce the idea that he is a martial art fighter?
No.
It sort of came out of, he should be a goon. You know who we didn't get to talk about at all? Mr. Pims.
Which was Mr. Pims?
Mr. Pims was the guy with the glasses who's like, I'm Mr. Pims, like the drink. And then he's in every scene in a Hawaiian shirt.
Yes, he was his butler equivalent.
Yes.
Which I quite liked.
Yeah. I like to think he wasn't in this final scene because him and the other butler were smooching behind the scenes.
Here's the thing. If you're a butler and you're off duty for a bit, you then find your other butler.
You got to find your other butler.
You smooch, you know? It's kind of like Smurfs. You know, they all start kissing. It's hot.
They knew that the Butler stuff was working, which is why they doubled down and got Gerard Butler for the next one.
I mean, that's just good writing.
It's synergy.
It's synergy, Carl. Carl, we've had about 3 endings now because we've had the big time thing, we've had the big dead John Voight monologue, we've had the stabbing, and then we've had the fight, and now we have. It might be one of the worst. Would you call it a chase sequence, an escape sequence, where Angelina Jolie is on a bunch of dogs, and there's like an avalanche going.
This was sick. I loved this. It's her ski dogging her way out of there. It's kind of the best.
It's kind of so good because it's so slow. It's like they were like slow. They're like, how fast the dogs are there? Oh, these guys go like, I don't know, 4 kilometers an hour. It's more of like a long distance thing. It's like, oh. Could we look at a car chasing through the avalanche? Like, you could, but it'd be very slow.
I wish she'd saddled up the other 60 dogs they'd gotten, and then it was like the minus 60 dogs pulling her.
Here's the thing: 4 dogs, you get horsepower. You want to get about 60 dogs, you got 10 horsepower. You get out of that cave quick.
I reckon these dogs would have been exhausted. It doesn't look like they were given any food, any water. I reckon they would have been. I reckon they would have already left.
You want to keep them hungry. If I know one thing about sled dogging is you want to keep your dogs really hungry, so when you do eventually perish in the snow, they'll just eat your remains.
Yeah, it's all about making sure you're taken care of.
Yes.
Yeah.
You want no bones left behind.
I love that she skis into the final scene when the butler's like, "Are you back?" And she's like, "Yes, and I wear white now."
Yes. She wears a dress
and a hat.
And a hat. But she doesn't wear a dress. She's got guns. And she don't know. She's not feminine. She's not feminine. She like guns.
Yeah.
And that's the hero.
And that's how it is.
That's how it is.
And that's how it is.
That's how it is. Carl, who would watch a Tomb Raider? Lara Croft.
I think this movie was made for VHS, and I got to tell you,
Wow.
I think
it even feels VHS. Yeah,
even the Netflix quality looked like it was dipping.
Yeah.
So it just feels like there was a reason they made which is the movie made a bit of money.
Yeah,
not like wasn't a gangbuster hit, but it made a bit of money.
I love because it seemed like there's something right. Everyone knew it was bad at the studio, and the studio head with like I assumed the biggest cigar and the biggest brandy was just like. Who cares? We can spend as much money as we want to make it better. We're still going to make money. And it did.
And it did.
Because it's Angelina Jolie in 2001. Things were good.
And I think they knew it would just be a massive hit, not in cinemas. It is the perfect like sleepover movie.
Yeah.
It's ripping off anything else that was successful.
Yeah.
It's like what if we were doing Wire Fu, and what if we were doing Indiana Jones, and what if we were doing all of these other things that are happening, and none of them right, and none of them correctly.
But you know what we're doing, so you
Yeah.
can just fill in the blanks, and that's fine.
Yeah, because I have a feeling they double down on all of this in the sequel. From memory, I've definitely merged the 2 movies.
Yeah.
So they.
What do you mean they double down? They double down on all the
It's
jankiness?
more CGI jank.
Yeah, great.
From memory, the CGI like dog monsters or something, like
Cool.
akin to the first Hunger Games. It's a lot more of like a now I like Gerard Butler, but maybe he is the exact same character arc.
Great.
And I have a feeling they're also looking for something that just also plays with time.
I've got no
I could be wrong about all
no,
of that.
No. I think you're right 100%. I have no idea what the time even meant.
Yeah, it does feel like who would watch this? This is like a perfect 2001 film. Like 2001 bad film.
Yeah. And like I feel like people were angry because like it was a big Hollywood star. It wasn't very good. The critics hated it. It made a lot of money. This is just good stuff, you know. This is ripe for that era. I kind of love these kind of films because they've left kind of no cultural impact, but they definitely reflect that time so well. I love it.
Because they must have been there. When did that first Spider-Man movie come out? The next year. They must have been like, see, blockbusters don't look good and they'll never look good.
Yeah.
And then that one just went boom. Look what you can do.
100%. It was also at the time where Angelina Jolie was dating Billy Bob Thornton, and they had all that blood.
You've got to look it up.
Yeah.
That is the weirdest PR,
It's
just
so
like
sick.
dating relation. It's just bizarre.
Hey, did you hear about the blood
Yeah.
vial? Yeah, it's so God, it's good.
Yeah, it's so bizarrely satanic, and the idea that those two have ever had a conversation, let alone dated, is weird.
And they fucked hard. That was all the tabloids were saying. Just like they keep fucking. We can smell it. What's all we got?
Do you remember when Billy Bob Thornton was like, I do comedies now, and he made Mr. Woodcock with Ashton Kutcher, and he made School for Scoundrels with John Hader.
Is that the one where he's got a whistle on the cover? He's got a whistle? Yeah. I always
And
see
he's
that.
holding two basketballs where
Yes.
his penis is.
God, he's good. God, he's harrowing in
I
Fargo.
think the idea of watching... Oh, yeah, you're right. The idea of watching those two movies back to back right now literally makes me want to kill myself. I just remember those movies, and I have a pit of sickness in my stomach remembering them.
He's a sick, weird freak, but he's great when he's a sick, weird freak.
And everyone's always like, have you worked with him? And they're like, isn't he a genius? A sick, weird freak on set, but my God, on camera, he's gorgeous.
He pissed on my leg. God, it was unpleasant. But when he gets on screen, that's what you be.
You know, they just followed around Billy Bob Thornton, and Fargo happened to him.
It does feel like that just sort of came out of him.
Yeah.
It's crazy that they had...
When he has that monologue in that first episode that's like, there be dragons here, to like Colin Hanks, and you're like, this is nonsense, and I'm horrified.
I'm terrified. God, it's good, Fargo. He's so good in that. And and then just seeing Angelina Jolie in this Tomb Raider thing. Also, real quickly, I thought I was being a pervert, being like, have they increased her boobs? They have.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I did think that was interesting.
How did they do that back then?
It wasn't CGI, big padding.
Oh, they padded her.
Padded her.
That must be so degrading as an actress to just be like...
She was in like her I'm sexy era, so all the PR's just like, they should have made me hotter. I should have had my tits out.
Yeah.
God, she's good. She's a pro. And
Yeah.
then you hear Maleficent. Oh.
It's this then Maleficent. Those are her two big things.
Did she directed a really good film, didn't she? Not a good film. She had an Oscar nominated, award winning. Okay, you give me a lot of things.
I don't think so.
Salt. That's what I'm thinking of.
You're right. She invented salt. And that's given us a lot.
It's great for sodium. Let me just say.
So good. I'll tell you what. It's flavoring everything right now. Have you heard about salt?
Guys, get on the salt train.
Get on the salt
train. Get on the salt train. Carl, that was video game month. I think we might do Tomb Raider 2.
We're just doing more video games.
I love video games. I love them so much. I love chatting about them. And honestly, we feel like we got a very small spectrum of stuff. I think we can do more.
Which is why we're limiting ourselves to just more Tomb Raider films.
More Tomb Raider films.
That's right. We're going to do The Secret of the Cradle Tomb or whatever it's called.
What it's called?
No, it's called Cradle something.
Cradle these balls.
Oh my God, what are you, Mr. Woodcock?
That's me.
Lara Croft Cradle. Let's find out what the title is. Lara Croft Tomb Raider, The Cradle of Life.
Oh, wow, the Cradle of Life. Is it Jesus? Is it Nazareth? Jesus of Nazareth?
Believe it or not, this is high rated on Rotten Tomatoes, but way worse reviewed on IMDb.
Yeah, that checks out. Carl, we'll be doing that next week. If you have a film you want us to do, askwwwtpodcast@gmail.com.
Yes, recommend us your next theme, because we're just going to be peddling on Tomb Raider films until there's a new theme.
We're treading Tomb at the moment.
Is anything coming out? We could do all the Final Destinations.
Oh, I'd love to do all the Final Destinations.
We could do all of them.
God,
I fear the new one's going to be the best.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
So excited. Okay, yeah. Well, let's just. Why don't we? If you start playing music and let me trail off, then this could just be the end of the episode.
Yeah. I'll start getting my phone.
Yep, no problem. So just let that happen. Let the music turn me off and just fade me out. Fade me out.